Strange Adventures issue 2, Tom King writing, of course, with Mitch Gerads on the art, and it has been so long.
Doc Shaner.
And Doc Shaner, sorry, of course. You can blame, I don't know if it was Comixology or Leo Comic Geeks, wherever I got the information from. They neglected to mention the other one. I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah, but you should know.
I should know, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it. All right. Obviously, I loved issue 1. I was looking forward to issue 2.
Mm-hmm.
As I started reading this issue, I'm like, oh god. I had to sort of stop. Just had to sit down and like, right, just think about issue 1. What happened in issue 1? What was the what was the gist of it?
Well, it was that, and this is so different in theme to issue 1 because this is the Mr. Terrific introduction.
Yeah, because obviously issue 1, it had 2 stories. It had the present day stuff, after the book writing and the murder accusation, and then the flashback stuff was during the war on Ran. This issue does the same thing, but the present day stuff is all Mr. Terrific. It's all Mr. Terrific's perspective.
They did confirm that's kind of how it's going to break down from here on out. Is that the all the stories from the book are Doc Shaner's stuff, and all the investigation is the way they're phrasing it will be Gerard's.
Well, that's not a surprise. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We expected that anyway, based on issue 1, I think.
I think there was a point of we're not sure exactly how it broke up, but that is how it's going to be for the entire book.
We didn't know exactly how Mr. Terrific was going to fit in when it was announced, because that was kind of the secret. He was the secret second character, or second star.
Yeah, and
of the book.
I think it's interesting that all the team are referring to him as the third character. It's a 3-character book according to all of them, being Strange, Terrific, and Alana Strange as well as the third character.
Because I was getting vibes reading this that Alana's not everything that we think. And it made me think about some of the stuff, because I went back and in the time that we weren't getting weekly comics, I went back and read Strange, the Adam Strange Planet Heist. And Alana's completely different in there. Like she is this, not that she's a damsel, but that's how it's played throughout. And you see that she's a strong character. And here, looking over some of what you read in the Shaner portions and thinking back to that first issue of the Gerard's book, she seems off. She seems like there's something more to her, like manipulative almost. It's not adding up. And I think that's a great aspect here. Right?
Sure. I didn't really notice that, to be honest, but sure. But yeah, Mr. Terrific, he, it's basically, it's all set before he met, because obviously issue 1 ended with him meeting Adam and Alana, and it all builds up to kind of the same point, and it's basically the Batman's messaged him saying, hey, do you want to look into this case? And he talks to Batman a couple of times over his T-spheres. There's this running thing, though, where his T-spheres are asking him like various history questions. Sometimes
some of them are history, some of them like trivia, some of them are like equations.
Yeah, and he's getting them all right because he's the smartest dude on the planet, basically.
Third smartest.
Third smartest, sorry.
That's canon. Which, just make him the smartest. Like, I want Mr. Terrific. Like, that's fine. Like, he can be the smartest man.
Let that be his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but making him the third smartest is always a fun little thing, because you're like, who's one of two?
Yeah, I wasn't being that specific. I was just sort of...
No, I know.
Say he's that smart.
I had to flex my muscle there.
Yeah.
I like how some of them that they ask are like, they're just quotations from things, and he has to say what it's from.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, it started to annoy me at a certain point, because I didn't know where it was going. Like, why are these random facts popping up? And then once you look at it, at what it leads to, with him accepting, Batman saying that there's things in the book that aren't adding up to real life, that he knows about Adam Strange, that you're like, okay, what do all of these things mean in order, of that story? The one that stuck out to me was the one about chess, about the gambit, about you had to sacrifice the queen to win.
Yeah, that one stuck out.
This amateur had done in a chess tournament, and every other person.
I don't know if every single one is going to somehow be relatable to what's actually going on, but I feel like some of them have some thematic links.
So in that one is the amateur sacrifice the queen, and every chess expert was like aghast by it, but it ended up leading to him winning.
But there's more intrigue to the mystery when we get to them. Let's work through kind of what actually goes on here. So the stuff on Ran is Alan. Adam. I was going to say Alan. Adam returns
Strange.
to Alana. It's this beautiful page where they sort of touch hands and the
They
stars behind them.
Yeah, because they timed the Zeta beam, which is another thing I learned from Planet Heist is they used to be timed, that the Zeta beam stuff, and that's why he couldn't come and go as he pleased.
Yeah, I remember that. That's been a long running thing.
Right. So her timing him coming back and talking with the daughter, that was all a real nice touch. And like Pete said, it looks super, super nice over the stars, and it's this really beautiful moment of them hugging and embracing.
And he keeps going back to terrific talk, talking to Batman about why he's even asking him to do this, like then like why not do this? But Batman's like, well, because he's one of us. He's a hero. He's a superhero, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. You've got like Batman just taking down like Pig in the background, which is these things.
Garrett's Pig's fantastic.
Garrett loves drawing Pig, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. That's actually much later though, is it not?
It's all part. Yeah, I think it's all part of this though. I'm just meaning in terms of him asking Batman why. That's part of it.
Yeah, because there's stuff with setting up the actual Ran stuff before we get there. Because Ran, they're at the end of their wits here with the war that's going on, and basically Adam and Alana take this mission to go find this particular tribe of people who aren't necessarily friendly with the regime, but they might be needed in fighting this other group. Yeah, the Picts. So the Picts are the ones that they're actually actively fighting.
Yes, those are the ones we saw in the first issue.
Last issue, yeah.
And
it's the Hellotat in this issue. Yes, that are the new ones.
They're off to fight the Hellotat, but it's quite a journey. They leave the kid, their daughter, with her father.
It was really notable the costume change. It was very much, like Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah. I saw someone call it Adam of Strange Arabia, and I thought that was fantastic. Yeah. But like the idea here being very clear of the implication of occupation and the imperialism and the faction tribes. It's a clear allusion here.
Well, and I'm looking back to King's experiences with the CIA, and like how much of this is how the U.S. or any other force that comes in looks to play up the differences between the residents there, because again, like the stuff that went on in Iraq, and they're still dealing with that stuff now. We
don't learn.
No, we never do, and so, and just the way that even Adam gets there is like it's a long journey even on jetpacks, right? And they end up something happened to Alana's, where it runs out and he has to leave her behind, and he goes on it.
Notably, he was willing to sort of give him hers, or both of them go on theirs. And no, we can't risk it malfunctioning because it's taking too much weight, and your jetpack's suited to you. So me taking it would just potentially compromise the mission. Right. So you have to do this. You'll come back and you'll save me, but you can go. That's why I mentioned before I move on though. At the couple of pages where Terrific's talking to Batman again, this is where you do actually see him fighting Pig. The art, I mean, you mentioned the Pig stuff. I actually think even more beautiful than that is Terrific running in the snow with the city behind him.
It's all gorgeous. I mentioned Pig because Garrett clearly has a thing for drawing Professor Pig, and
when it comes to atmosphere though, I mean, in the snow, the blue neon lighting of the I
like
the
how
city.
his T-spheres kind of line up with kind of blend in with the snow.
The color.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, all of the Mr. Terrific stuff with him doing all of these seemingly like normal things, and then you look just a little bit closer, and they're not normal because he's not a normal human. You know what I mean? Like he's almost Batman plus in that way. And yeah, just because it was the weight lifting page where you look and it's like it looks just a regular workout, but he's got 3 plates on each side. Like that's not a regular person's workout. So I like that, and Garrett's does it. It looks so normal, but there's always that extra layer there. But yeah,
the way for him it is normal, and that's what makes it impressive. Is by
it's mundane. That's the word that I'm looking for. It makes all these acts that are like superhuman, they just seem so mundane to Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as you were, Pete.
Yeah, so Adam ends up, his jetpack goes out anyway and he crashes, and it becomes this journey. He has to kill this big weird turtle monster thing
Beast.
to drink its blood. As you know, we're cutting back and forth, and Terrific still deciding. And Terrific, it tells the story of the Green Knight, which is funny because it reminded me there's a movie that was supposed to be coming out in May.
Which
I am distraught that movie isn't out yet. I was like, please put it on home release, because it was easily my most anticipated movie of the year.
right, so I wasn't familiar. Like I've heard the story of Gawain, however you pronounce it, in the Green Knight.
Wayne, yeah.
I did not realize this is what the actual story was.
Yeah.
And then I
Great
was like,
story.
damn, now I want to see this movie too. Like
The original story, it's pretty short, Matt. It's worth
Mhm.
checking out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Um,
So he talks about this but ultimately the point being is that technically, Gawain kind of wins, but he doesn't actually get to keep his honor, right? That's ultimately the
He keeps
right.
most of his honor.
yeah.
Had he kept his honor, he would have came out unscathed. But the fact that he didn't, he threw away his honor to win, and ultimately that's what leaves the biggest scar.
And it's
Even though it's a small, cut he
That's
gets.
the key point here is he, there's two infractions that he does, fess up to essentially, and there's just one that he doesn't, and it's that he's mostly a good person, except when his life was on the line.
yeah, and there's obviously
he caved.
That's obviously relates to Adam Strange. It obviously relates to whatever he's not putting in his book. It relates to whatever the secrets that he's hiding are. And we see him kind of like, and obviously the story we're getting in the flashbacks is the story that's going to reveal eventually whatever this secret is, whatever this shame is.
I can't wait till the final few issues where we have panel by panel back and forth between Gerard's and Shayna of the story version and the real version next to it.
And it's gonna make me not like Adam Strange, and I love Adam Strange, but I already know where this is going. It's basically gonna be your heroes are still human, no matter what, and Adam's not such a great guy. I hope it doesn't go that.
Well, this is the thing.
I
is
hope
that
I'm being cynical.
is it Terrific when he's about to make the choice to take the job, he flat out tells Batman he writes that his daughter is dead. She is not, and I doubt that is the only lie. That is something that for us as readers, up until this page, we never call into question the fact that his daughter. We take that. Why would that be a lie? So the fact that Terrific looks at that and says, "No, this is obviously a lie," is intriguing. It's like, well, wait, what? Like, why is that a lie?
I wonder how much of it is because the way it reveals it to us. The panel is the foreword, like that little note. It says, for my daughter, whom I lost in the war. I wonder if there's an implication that she's dead, but he never actually says it in the book, and maybe lost means something else.
Something else is a double.
Right? How do you know he doesn't say it in the actual book though, in the actual text?
No, I don't. I don't. I said if.
No.
I said if he doesn't say that, I wonder if that's the case.
Because I thought that too, is that maybe that he has to sacrifice who he was, and that's like the thing of losing his daughter.
Because I'm pretty sure in issue 1, like they talk about his daughter being dead, so he clearly, even if he doesn't say it in the book, he definitely says it. He talks about.
Goes along with the story. He doesn't correct them at the very least.
You know what? I'm gonna have to dig this out now and reread the first issue.
Look for the hints.
But no, because that's what the part of the first issue that really sticks out to me, besides the Shayna and Gerard's dueling art, is the part with Alana dealing with the stuff, almost like she's his publicist, or he's like, I'll handle all of this. And that's what I start looking at this and her jetpack, right? That's the one that malfunctions, and then that's what leads him to go by himself, and that he's being forced upon Rand as the hero. Like he's taking their mission as his own, and then that going with what Alana did in the last one that I remember. It's just stuff's not adding up, and it's really expertly in that way, almost in a Fincher kind of way, where you start noticing the little parts, like in a David Fincher movie, that aren't adding up, and you're like, well, wait, and then it's all going to be revealed later.
It's
I'm thinking
this issue
of Gone Girl.
Oh yeah, it is this issue where it really feels different to Mr. Miracle, though, for me, like where the first issue felt not the same, but the style was very similar because it's Tom King doing his 12-issue series, right? It's this one here where it's like, no, this is a detective story that we're actually telling, whereas Mr. Miracle wasn't.
No,
And
that
the
was
first-
that was a thing on, I would say, on parenthood and depression and
Yeah.
how you deal with that being a human being. And this no is sure we'll get some of that, and there might be diatribes on imperialism and
yeah, I mean,
colonization.
I feel like at its
But-
core, it's about secrets and regret, and it's about
Right.
Yeah, but it's going to be in the trappings of a
yeah.
borderline
detective story.
traditional detective story, which obviously Mr. Miracle was not. But I'm in for this because, hey, good detective stories are kind of some of the backbones of comics, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
That's where DC gets its name.
I mean,
right?
that's a kind of straightforward just because the way King tells his stories, just the structure of this issue and the way it kind of even reveals that that's what the story is unconventional even to begin with. So
I mean, I think I said traditional, not straightforward. Although maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, in the sense of
okay, well, traditional
the-
even in that sense though is what I mean as well.
yeah, not in the structure or the format, but more in the feeling, the way it unravels the clues, and you kind of go, wait, something's not adding up, and it wants you to put these pieces together.
And I think what's so effective about this though is that the piece that it tells us is wrong wasn't obvious to us. To us, we had no. We suspected there was going to be more to the story, that it wasn't in the book, that there was going to be a reveal, but we didn't expect that the biggest thing at the forefront was a lie.
I think something important as well is Batman didn't know either.
Yeah,
because
Right.
that was his
I
reaction.
want to
It's like,
know.
how do you know? And so this is something so subtle and hidden in there that even Batman didn't notice it.
Well, and also, doesn't he say that? Doesn't Holt say he's read the book numerous times by this point? By the time he decides to accept it,
mm-hmm.
he talks about he's read it numerous times and stuff. So again, I want to know how he's piecing it together, and I'm here for that part of the ride.
Yeah,
And because just because Strange has lied about that, again, it doesn't mean he's lying about the death of that guy. But it doesn't make it any.
It murkies his story. It calls into
Right.
question his reputation. It's
Mhm.
okay if he can lie about something like this. What else can he lie about?
and actually, there's maybe a question here as well. The story we're seeing play out in the flashback, is that what happened, or is that what's in his book?
That's what's in the book. That's
Right.
that's what
That's what we're.
saying.
But that's what we're taking it as right now. Maybe that's what we'll find out, though. You know what I mean?
I say that because Gerrans did say quite publicly on Twitter, the Shayna stuff is what's in the book. So all that stuff that we're seeing in the past that Shayna's drawing,
Well,
they're at least not just implying that to us in the story, but they are actively telling us that. Now,
so
they
then
could lie,
that tells
of
me
course.
at a certain point we're going to get Shayna drawing real world things on Earth, and then we're going to get Garrett's drawing what really happened on Rand.
I know some of the stuff on Rand comes in issue 4 for Gerrits.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Which again, I like.
Well, that's a good technique, because it means
stylistically,
we'll know when it's the truth. If I mean, some of the stuff we're seeing might be the truth anyway, but it's obviously sugar coated. It's obviously missing.
right, because
omission certain
everyone
things.
becomes when you write a book of what happens, or when you tell a story, you always exaggerate a little bit, right?
It's filtered through your own perspective.
It's this exciting thing where you've seen like TV shows and movies do it, where they'll have like a narrative technique where they'll like flashbacks. Maybe let's say, I mean, I don't have a specific example. Let's say flashbacks are in black and white, right? And there's a certain character that you only ever see in the flashbacks, but the second you see them in a color bit of footage, you're like, oh shit, like they're here now.
Yeah,
it has an impact.
Well, it's Memento,
Sure.
right?
Well,
Because Memento is about his perspective too.
I get where Matt's coming from.
I guess kind of. It's not exactly what I was getting at, but yeah, I guess kind of.
But this is why I was saying I was really excited for when we get the inevitable point of seeing Shayna's version of a panel as the story, and then Gerard showing us the real version of what actually happened. That I'm really looking forward to, and just seeing those panels side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So terrific. Sort of before we had the final page where he actually comes and we get the sort of the repeat of the final moment of the first issue, is he takes like some nanotech, puts it in his mouth, and he asks the T-Sphere to ask him a question he doesn't know the answer to, and it calculates for a bit and then asks him, what was the sex of your unborn child, who died with your wife, and that's the question that he can't answer. That's what he doesn't know.
That's brutal.
And
I was like, Oh, okay. Thanks, King, for reminding me
Well,
that you're super dark.
There's a line early on when he's first talking to Batman about, well, did you manipulate me? Did you ask me to take this job because of what happened with my wife? Because of my history?
Mhm.
Is that why I've been picked? And Batman kind of tries to sidestep the question, but the implication might be that no, he is actually probably suited to this in some way because of that, because of where his empathies will lie, because of his experiences, on top of the fact that he's the third smartest man on the planet, and so on. Um, I mean, I think Batman says, "Oh, it's because it's fair play. We want us to be fair, and you're Mister Fair Play." So,
Yeah, and he calls him a manipulative dick.
yeah. So yeah, Terrific knows what he's doing. Obviously, he's well aware of Batman and how
Mhm.
he thinks and what his games are. But I think it's going to be an interesting tactic. Like like when Terrific finds out what really happened, is it something that he sympathizes with and ultimately recommends to Batman that there's nothing to. I don't know if Batman's looking to punish Adam if they did do something wrong, but the idea of just like no, he's in the clear. Like he has past issues, but nothing that like we have to
Yeah.
actually like crucify him for. Like I don't know. Like I'm wondering if like there's going to be like an element of like sympathy and understanding to whatever it is that Adam did. But then again, the fact that we are speculating that Adam Strange's daughter is not dead and that either he lost her because his daughter was taken or because he gave up his daughter for some reason. Imagine for a second that Adam chose to give up his daughter for in some hard decision. The idea that Mr. Terrific's someone who lost a child with no choice.
Right.
How does he react to a character who gave away their child potentially? So there's things to play with there. If that's where it's going to go, it may not. It may,
Oh,
Yeah,
that
and
also plays into Mr. Miracle.
Oh
oh,
yeah, it does.
yeah, definitely. There's
Yeah.
there's just one page we didn't talk about that I do want to mention,
Uh-huh.
and this is Terrific. He's out on the ice. He's got the weight that he's going to throw under the ice, and he's going to swim down and
Right.
get it. But that speech he gives before, um, how how they love Adam. He's cool. Whatever, and he's got his jetpack, and they put him on kids' lunch boxes. And then he talks about how they never loved him, even when he was winning gold medals for the country, reinventing tech and saving the world. It didn't matter, and none of that ever mattered to the people for him. And the obvious the race implications are
Yep.
really stark here, and it's the most apparent they are in the book, where he kind of just draws attention to it, and
I think drawing attention to that here in his introduction issue, essentially. Obviously, we got the reveal of him at the end of the issue last time, but this is his introduction of like what type of version of a character that he is and what he's going to be doing, how he thinks, all that sort of stuff. I think raising that in his introduction says that it's always maybe not going to be at the forefront, but there's going to be that subtext there throughout. Whenever he does find out to some extent what Adam did on Ran to end the war, I wonder if his reaction to it, how Mr. Terrific views what he did in order to end that war.
It's kind of why I bring up the imperialism aspect as well. Feels kind of rooted in these themes.
Yeah, did Adam essentially, keep the awful people in charge that were doing a lot of bad things, and
because it's easier for it's easier for him because he knows who he's dealing with, and so I also wanted to bring up about what Mr. Terrific says in Heroes in Crisis, because I thought it would have been, like almost like a hint of what's going to happen here. And it's really not, but it is about him being the third smartest. So I thought that was pretty interesting, that this is something that King's been thinking about, at least since Heroes in Crisis with Mr. Terrific. Because he talks about when you lap the field in a race, for a while you look like you're behind. So it seems that people from the outside, you're in, let's say, third place, when in fact you're just biding your time until you lap them again. And that's the only thing I can find from him in Heroes in Crisis.
Is the implication there being that he's not the third smartest? He's actually the smartest, and he's the smartest by that much that it looks like he's behind
the third.
Yeah.
Right. And then that also with what we just brought up about him, about the racial implications and stuff too.
I wish I also mentioned that Adam does get to the alien tribe that he's looking for, and they look kind of reptilian with mohawks. I just thought that was cool.
It's a great design. I'm into them.
Right, and he kind of shows up and tells them what's going to happen.
Also, there's a bit of a Ninja Turtle thing going on here where they all have different colors on and they have different like headbands, and they don't match their colors, but I was getting kind of almost like the one on the left was definitely giving me kind of like skinny Raphael kind of a vibe.
Kind of, I can see that.
I get where you're coming from.
Michelangelo on the right. I mean, it's probably not intentional, but it made me think of it.
I like how this story ends with the stalemate and them both pointing the gun at each other, like right in their faces, and that's the end that we get of the book story for this issue.
Yeah. Yeah, the final page is them shaking hands. Although, because last time we got who it was, but it didn't show us it completely. But the final panel is a photograph that's been turned down. Did we see this photograph be put down in the first issue? I don't think we did we?
I feel like I remember talking about the photograph.
Yeah, I do too.
I think, again, I'd have to go back and check. I feel like this was a picture of him with his daughter, maybe.
Yeah. So, this is what happens when there's like 3-4 months between issues.
Yeah. If it is his daughter, it plays into this shame that he's not telling the truth. That she is maybe not. Maybe she is alive. Maybe she's not. But the story that he's telling about her isn't true.
Yeah. So, no, a lot to dig into there. Unsurprisingly, the Tom King Maxi series is the one that ends up with a lot of discussion on, and look forward to issue 3 next month. So, and if you didn't make it clear, the art's gorgeous. So, Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give this one a 9, and I can't remember what I gave the last one, but it's about the same level. I really enjoyed this one.
Connor?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
I'm also going to go with the 9. So there you go.